Okay, can you hear me? Yes, you can. Thank you.
Okay, so the next speaker, or at least the next person talking, well, I guess the speaker,
sort of,
is Steffen, who is not going to talk about graphical models.
Nope. Well, I am in a certain sense, but in a very admin way.
Then there you are. So, well, he's probably going to explain what he's going to talk about.
I will try, and I will say thank you very much for inviting me to this event, which has been good, and thank you very much to Ernst for actually providing these overheads for me. So what I should just talk about is to make sure everybody knows that there is this initiative that is taking place. It's the COSTNET, and it's a cost action, and it has that number, and the point is using that number is the easiest way to find information about it if you go Google it. So cost action with this number in front of it is that's why I wrote it there, so that first of all, now what is it and what does it do? And it's cost as such is a European funding scheme, a European Union funding scheme, and it's actually in a certain sense it's very old, so it has happened since 1971. It's COST stands for Cooperation in Science and Technology, and it does not. It does actually include countries that are not members of the European Union. So, okay, but Israel, for example, and so far even the UK. So. And it is part of the Horizon 2020 programs, and although it has been around for a long, long time, it is sort of renewed and renewing its role from time to time. And the general aim is to stimulate new collaborations between scientists and anything happen. It's very vague. It's not very restrictive. It's very broad in its scope. But it is about collaboration and exchange of information. It's not funding research as such. Okay, here is the logo or the e-cost for the homepage, and then this particular COSTNET that I should talk about is this particular network which has just been launched. So I will start down here. It said it was funded and it began on 1st June 2016 in a formal sense. It runs over 4 years. So there are 4 years of activity in this network, and it has just started. So exactly what is going to happen over the time can be a bit is not that determined. It was an application submitted to the COST by some 70 statisticians in 2015. To be quite honest, it was the second application because it was the third one. Okay, it was definitely. So it was the final. It was the one that was granted, and Ernst was the one who took the main initiative to get it sent. But it is a network for cooperation in this sense, and it's quite comprehensive. It's comprehensive in many ways. It's comprehensive in the way in which it understands what networks are. So it's really networks. So it is a network for network models for networks, and it is very. These are some examples of networks that are mentioned in the application, but I don't think there's anything specifically exclusive about this. So I think anything that is related to networks would fit well into the aim of the whole thing. And statistics, of course, enters in many different ways. I don't think I should spend much time on that in this audience, because I mean this is what we've been doing for at least the last couple of days, and certainly most of the week in this entire thing. And this is just to showing there's a lot of activity happening all over the place about networks, and have been. So there are grants in Holland. There's been a workshop in Munich recently. There is this program that we are part of here at the Isaac Newton Institute. There is this special issue we've been hearing about, and there will be one of the SEMSTAT, which are sort of summer schools or winter schools rather, for postdocs primarily, and that will happen at Urandom in the Netherlands, and that will happen in March 2017. So if you haven't seen it, this is you should notice that bit. The other ones, I think, are things you know about because they either have happened, or this one is supposed to happen. And the aim is sort of just to assess what is common among these very different things. It's a huge variety. People mean a lot of different things when they say network analysis. And it's a huge variety across all these things. And one of them is simply to communicate and see what are the common grounds and what are the possibilities of collaboration and cross-fertilization in terms of exchanging ideas, but also very specifically to facilitate collaboration between people that are not necessarily normally collaborating. And this means both across countries and also across subjects, or between sort of the normal subject boundaries that fragments, if you like, the current network of network scientists. And, well, novel theory, methodology. I think an important thing is to see future research projects. So this is not a research project, and there's not money enough in it for that purpose. But to see future research projects is a very important aspect of it. So people meet here, they talk about things, cook up ideas for new research projects that could be sent to the European research programs. And if you know, and to identify, you know, what's important and what's less important, and to communicate between things and make transdisciplinary stuff. And it's organized by some working groups, just sort of to separate it a little bit. It's not really I mean, the whole thing of this network is not to separate it, so therefore it's not, this is not a separation, it's just trying to get a little, trying to make sure that Ernst is not going to do all of the work himself, right, of coordination. That's really the point of this, I presume. This is the way I understand it. And so there are 3 work groups with corresponding work group leaders, of which, and one is just sort of the whole thing about the massive data sets and how you actually explore them and represent them. One is about the modeling bit, and one about is what you do with them for inference and prediction. And for example, this is sort of the whole thing about how you sample these data and how you do this. This is the exploring bit. The modeling would include graphical models, which is sort of, I guess, where I come in a bit, but also something like exponential random graph models, and many other things we have been seeing here. How how the network flows and how information flows or contagion flows or whatever flows in the networks, and how you can actually infer likelihood parameters and make inference and predict things. And it has a focus on early career investigation. So this is something that every time there is use for money, which this particular bit is an important thing. Also, what is called cost-inclusive target countries. And these are countries, it's not yet the UK, but these are countries where maybe the flow of information has traditionally not been quite as big as it should have been. So there are certain political priorities in where the money is allocated. And this is, these are some of the ideas, and these are the kind of activities that are going to happen. Conferences, meetings in the working groups, short-term scientific missions. Now this is a cost term, which it may not be, this means this is really a visit. So somebody moves from wherever they are to another institution to collaborate or exchange information with somebody at another institution for, say, between a week or a couple of months or something like that order of magnitude. And this, there is money for funding that kind of activity. That is formally called a short-term scientific mission. One has to learn all this EU slang. Maybe some of you have to de-learn it. But the other thing, there will be actually some online seminars from time to time. There are blogs, wikis, summer schools. But these two, and there will be, these are things to be done in the in the future, but some of these things have been arranged always, those that are in boldface here. So these are where some of the weights are in the very first year. So the way it is organized is that the grant period has, since it's 4 years, so every year there is a budget for that year. The current there's no budget for period 2 at the moment. So the allocation has not been made, but the allocation for the first year of how the money should be used has been made, and there's very little that one can do about changing that. So that is the, so the first thing is to get the online structure up and running, to get the websites. That is happening right now. Then also the short-term scientific missions have started. There will be a management committee meeting. Every country involved in this cost action, and there are 29 countries, I think. 29 countries involved in the action. Every country has a member in the management committee, and any decision has to be taken in this rather big audience of 29 management committee members. So, and there will be a meeting here in September where we've just had a launch meeting to get things started, but that was a very brief one and was very recently. But there will be a longer and more detailed, more scientifically detailed meeting on the 23rd December. The first conference or the first workshop is happening in Rivne, Slovenia, and it's a satellite to a conference on statistical modeling, right?
On applied statistics.
On applied statistics, some sort of. There is another satellite conference, but that is happening, and I guess it's still possible to participate.
You can still register, but
you can still register, but I don't think you would get support is done, and
for this one.
Yeah, for this one. But there will actually be things happening. Then there is this winter school on statistical network science at Urandom that I was talking about before, and I guess one has to sign up for that. That's probably not, participation is not completely settled yet, right?
No, so this is for PhD students and postdocs and
yeah.
Early career researchers,
yeah.
basically, and funding is still available for that one.
Yeah. And the point of this talk is to make sure you get involved. And you just sign up and you just go in, and it will tell you how. There are various quite bureaucratic procedures you have to go through, which sometimes means that you have to contact. Every nation has their own cost representative who sort of channels through whether you can actually participate or not in the action. But it's still possible to sign up. It's not that if you were not on the original application you cannot get involved in this. This is not at all the case. It is quite easy and quite flexible how to actually sign up and to follow what happens. There is a home page for the specific one, and I think if you put into that one you get very quickly to the home page. And once you have joined it, you can apply for funds for visits, and you can also apply for funds to organize other types of activities in the future. So that is what everyone should do. And so it's just get on with it. That was the point. Join the action.
Excellent. Thanks.
Okay. And if there's any question, Ernst will answer.
Something?
I've got a question about joining the action. If I remember correctly, there's a 1-year grace period where people can join the action.
They can join there's a grace period.
May 31st you can join the action for free, and otherwise it gets complicated.
Well, otherwise, yes, the people need to. So before, within 1 year, everyone can sign up, and everyone pretty much means everyone in this room, even people, so there's a few Americans in this room as well. They can be involved in the action. They can't get all the funding, but they can be funded for one activity over the course of the whole action. Nevertheless, most other people can be involved, can sign up. Within 1 year, that means until 31st of May, they're simply automatic, as long as your national coordinator...
Yeah, the national coordinator is currently saying if you want to join the action, the national coordinator will tell you're joined. and then you are joined, and it's your choice. And if you later than that, I believe the management committee has to approve it.
Needs to approve it, which basically means that.
And that means that a lot of this will be extra cost for you because you will have to use bribery to the management committee.
Which you may want to show with the next slide. I'm not sure.
Okay,
So the one
that's right.
I forgot the.
Sorry, I forgot. This is where you should put your money.
Yes.
It is the management committee is one for every country. That's 29 management committee members. Some countries have 2 members but only 1 vote, 2 or 3 members. But then there is this slightly smaller management committee where Ernst is the chair, Gesine the vice chair, Göran Kauermann from München is taking care of the admin and the money. The work group 1 is led by Celia Di Serio. Work group 2 is me. Sorry?
You pointed to my picture. I'm not curious.
She's the fourth one.
It's the fourth one. Next
Here?
one.
Right?
Yeah.
Celia. Okay, did I point the wrong place? Arnoldo, work group 3. The short-term scientific missions is Veronica. Outreach, Anushka, and dissemination, Claire Gormley. So this is sort of a smaller subset of the management committee, which will meet a little more frequent than the big management committee.
So get involved. Just sign up.
But it's basically going to be very distributed in the way that it's organized. And it's not very much sort of top-down. It is very much bottom-up, the way things are happening.
So basically, you might wanted to organize a meeting anyway, and you just tell us that you wanted to do it. We make it an action conference. So we simply don't organize it because we don't want to keep on organizing stuff. You just organize your stuff. We put a cost label on it. You get some funding. People will come to you, attend, fund it, your conference, and it's going to be all a great success. That's the idea. All right, good. Thanks, Steffen.
Thank you.
So actually, on the program it says that I'm going to do some.